Well, good afternoon, everyone. We're here today to talk about the Keystone Pipeline, and the real leaders on this issue have been Senator Hoeven, Thune, Barrasso, and Murkowski. So let me tell you why I'm here. If the American people give us the opportunity to be in the majority next year, I'll be setting the agenda in consultation with my colleagues. Or as I say to audiences, I've enjoyed being the defensive coordinator, but it's easier to score if you're on offense. And the majority leader of the Senate is the offensive coordinator. So I can tell you, if we have a new majority next year and a new majority leader, the Keystone Pipeline will be voted on the floor of the Senate, something the current majority has been avoiding for literally years. And I think the reason they've been avoiding it for years is because they're afraid that it might pass with a broad bipartisan coalition. With that, let me turn it over to Senator Hoeven.
Thank you, Leader. Appreciate very much you leading off this press conference. And, you know, we're here today because tomorrow is the 6th anniversary of the application for the Keystone XL Pipeline. So 6 years ago, 2008, September 19, 2008, the TransCanada Company applied for approval of a pipeline. And this actually isn't the Keystone Pipeline, it's the Keystone XL. In other words, they had just built the Keystone Pipeline. Now, they applied for approval of that in 2006, got approval in 2008, started construction in 2008, built in 2010. So in 2008, when they asked to build a sister pipeline, seems like a no-brainer, they're going to get approval, right? But here we are 6 years later, we still don't have approval. And the president came to our caucus. We had a meeting right here in the Capitol last year. The president said he would make a decision by the end of 2013. I think Senator Barrasso is going to talk about that a little bit. Yet here we are, still no decision. So we have a letter from all 45 members of our caucus. Every single Republican senator has signed on to this letter, once again asking the president, saying, hey, you told us you'd have a decision here by the end of last year. We're now at the 6th anniversary, no decision. We'd like a decision. We'd certainly like a response as to what you're going to do. After 6 years, you could tell the American people what you're going to do on something that's a vital infrastructure project. And for those that think that somehow it's an environmental issue, take a look at, I know it's detailed, but take a look at the chart on my far right. 5 environmental impact statements. 5. No significant environmental impact. 5 of them. What's he going? I mean, do we have to have 10? What's going on? I mean, what about following the rule of law on this thing? Right? I mean, it's just absolutely unbelievable. 5 environmental impacts, no significant, 5 environmental impact statements, all of them finding no environmental impact. And so what do we see? These are the segments of the pipeline. Millions and millions of dollars of pipeline stacked up in my state so we can build the pipeline. Actually, this is the South Dakota segment. Senator Thune can tell you all about that, but he's waiting to get a few people employed and some significant tax revenue generated from all that pipeline that's stacked up in my state and has been for almost 6 years. It's about energy. It's about jobs. It's about growing our economy. It's about tax revenue without raising taxes, right? It's about national security. You want to talk about the national security the implications for just a minute? We're working on a resolution today to deal with ISIL, right? And we're getting oil from the Middle East instead of Canada. Really? The administration wants to make an argument that we should continue to get oil from the Middle East instead of Canada? Think about the resolution that we're passing today. ISIL's getting its revenue by selling oil. And here we sit 6 years later. Well, I think what's going to happen, I really do. I mean, we may not get an answer now to this letter signed by every single Republican addressed to the president on something he told us that he would do. But I think, as with all things, the American people will decide this issue. We have 57 senators that are strongly in support of this project, a strong bipartisan majority, 57. And remember, this is not just to move oil from Canada, but from my state, from Montana as well, light sweet Bakken crude. We have 57 votes for this project today, bipartisan. This thing has been bipartisan all the way through. And I strongly believe that next year we'll have the votes. We'll have the 60 we need to pass this project. And so ultimately the American people will speak on this. They will speak over the special interests that are holding it up. And we'll have the 60 votes. And then we'll need to attach it to something that the president can't veto. And that's what we'll do.